Greetings everyone! Welcome to my Sonic Free Comic Book Day 2015 review. Before we get started, I want to point out a few things. First, this is a flip book with Megaman on the other side, but I won't review that story because it's just a summary of the Emerald Sphere's villain Xander Payne, which featured panels lifted straight from the Megaman comics themselves. But I understand why they did it. Solicitations for Worlds Unite mentioned his presence, and potential readers may not be familiar with this villain. The second thing about this book is the Sonic story is a Sonic comic origin. Sonic comic origins are a series of stories detailing, origins of characters in the new Sonic universe. I haven't gotten around to reviewing the first 5 origin stories because they are related thanks to the Frame story. I'll get to them at some point in the future. One more thing about this story. It tells the origin of those Genesis portals that were introduced in Sonic Universe 75. That's because this story was supposed to be released in a Super Sonic Special magazine that was delayed for some reason. But thankfully, this story was reprinted in the free Comic Book Day issue that I currently have. So, let's get started. We begin this story with Sonic and Eggman in Apatow. And I just realized something. This is the first time Sonic and Eggman actually met face-to-face since the first crossover. Anyway, Sonic zooms past the Egg Swats, being his usual self, while Eggman wants him to stay out of the way of him conquering the shattered planet. Then suddenly a hole appears in the sky, and out emerges a fiery monster, which Sonic identifies as the Ifrit. Right away, the Ifrit attacks, and Eggman orders his forces to break off and search for the old man, which I'm assuming is Gregarios. Any robots left behind were burnt to a crisp. Sonic thinks he can handle the Ifrit by himself. However, a failed spin dash to its head shows that the Hedgehog's clearly outmatched. You know things are bad if Sonic needs help. Right on cue, help arrives, and it's Silver the Hedgehog. He uses his powers to hold Ifrit at bay while Sonic again tries to spin dash it. And Sonic being Sonic, he makes a bunch of time-related puns at Silver. On a serious note, Sonic asks how the Ifrit got out of its dimension, and Silver's answer? Genesis portals. Silver can't explain right now for obvious reasons, but he does explain that they need to get the Ifrit back into the hole in the sky. Sonic tells Silver to psychically throw him into the hole. The Ifrit notices the speedy Sonic and follows him back to its dimension. Once both arrive, Sonic immediately dives back into his world and yells at Silver to do something fast. That something would be closing the portal with his powers. I like Sonic's demeanor here as he's falling towards the ground and is telling Silver to catch him. With the crisis over, it's time to learn what's up with these Genesis portals. We get a flashback with Silver meeting with a Professor Von Schlemmer. The professor explains that thanks to the first crossover's ending, i.e. Eggman screwing up Sonic's chaos control, reality has shattered. These shards tore open holes that lead to other dimensions. The professor also worries what havoc these Genesis portals might unleash, and he asks Silver to start closing them with his powers. But Silver can only do it one portal at a time. Sonic for the moment is focused on fixing the planet, while Silver wonders what might come out of the Genesis portals. Both of them don't know that a Badnik was nearby, and now Eggman knows all about the Genesis portals. Oh boy. Huzzah! Now we know the origins of these pesky Genesis portals. To be honest, I'm not that surprised that it was the ending of Worlds Collide that caused this mess. Plus, it gives Silver a reason to be relevant this time as his powers can seal these portals. The scientist that discovered the Genesis portals, Professor Von Schlemmer, believe it or not, is another character from the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Here's a picture of his original form. In the cartoon, he's a recurring ally of Sonic and Tails. In the comic, it appears that he's allied himself with Silver. Now, assuming this flashback takes place in Silver's time, I see 2 possibilities based on this lab. 1. Silver manages to fix his bad future, or 2. The lab is one of the few places in the bad future that's still in pristine shape. Well, we can check off another game that's happened in this world, Sonic Rivals 2, due to Sonic recognizing the Ifrit. The main plot of that game is Eggman Nega trying to harness Ifrit's power, but the heroes thwart him. There's more to it than that, but it's not worth mentioning here. The only reason Ifrit appears in this story besides game confirmation is to show the dangers of the Genesis portals. Anything nasty can enter another world and wreak havoc. And thanks to a well-positioned Badnik, Eggman now knows all about these Genesis portals, and he wants to use them to conquer a couple of other universes? Really, Eggman? You caused these things to appear in the first place when you screwed up Supersonic's Chaos Control. You're having trouble conquering this world, which is shattered, again, thanks to the screwed up Chaos Control. Mucking around with space-time continuum anomalies always ends badly for you. But go ahead, use these portals. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. We have a new artist here, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Bryce Thomas. So far, his work is definitely up there with the likes of Tracy, Evan, Jennifer, and so forth. Where do they keep finding these talented people? I'm going to give this story an 8. I had a good time reading it despite it being a setup story. And that's what it is, folks, a setup story. Now, the events of Sonic Universe 75 make a whole lot of sense. Plus, Genesis portals do play a role in the upcoming crossover. Heck, they're starting to appear in other comic book series. Before I bow out, I should note that this story takes place between Sonic 271 and 272, and around the same time as the Spark of Life arc. So thank you everybody for joining me today, and as always, have a good day, and be safe.